everyone, welcome to English News Broadcast on this special day of a historic event commemorating the 64th anniversary of the start of the Eritrean armed struggle. We are here for our domestic and international news, and we invite you to join us up until the end. To begin with, let's start with the major headlines. Various programs conducted in connection with September 1st. Awards presented to outstanding students in Barentu subzone. In our international news, Venezuela says it's ready for any attack from the US. And Germany blocks EU sanctions on Israel. In our domestic news, various programs commemorating the 64th anniversary of the beginning of the armed struggle for Eritrean independence have been conducted inside the country and abroad. A cultural program organized by the National Holidays Committee was conducted yesterday at Cinema Roma and was broadcast live by Eritrean television. The event featured performances portraying the aspirations and heavy sacrifices made by the Eritrean people for independence. It also reflected the strong resilience of the Eritrean people, the message of the day, and the responsibilities that successive generations of Eritreans should shoulder. The People's Front for Democracy and Justice, PFDJ, also issued a statement in connection with the 64th anniversary of the beginning of the armed struggle for independence. The statement called for preserving the gains achieved through the Eritrean People's Revolution, safeguarding national independence and sovereignty, and earnestly working for national development. In the same vein, nationals in the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Austria commemorated the 64th anniversary of the beginning of the armed struggle for Eritrea's independence. Moving on to Gashbarka region, Bisha Junior and High School in Barentu subzone has awarded outstanding students who scored high marks in the National School Living Examination. The awardees are members of the 37th round of the National Service. At the event, which was organized on August 30th, Mr. Kahsu Fiqra, director of the school, said that the awards were for outstanding students will make a significant contribution in motivating fellow students to work hard for educational excellence. He also congratulated the awardees, their parents, the Parents Committee, and the school community. Highlighting that the award will enhance competitiveness among students, Mr. Hagos Gebra Mariam, chairman of the Parents Committee, called on the awardees to work hard to become competitive in their education and serve as examples to others. Mr. Haptezgi Germatyan, head of the education office in the subzone, on his part, noted that the educational process requires patience, hard work, and commitment. He called for coordinated efforts from all stakeholders to develop the teaching and learning process. At the event, Mr. Franco Kubaba, Director General of Social Services, and Ambassador Mahmoud Ali Jabra, Secretary of the PFDJ in the region, expressed the readiness of the regional administration and the PFDJ to play their part in improving the teaching-learning process. They also stressed the importance of sustaining initiatives that encourage outstanding students. In another news, a new dam constructed at the cost of over 9 million nakfa was inaugurated on August 30th in the Afambo administrative area, southern Dankalia subzone. Engineer Merhawi Isa, coordinator of the project, indicated that the dam has the capacity to hold about 300,000 cubic meters of water. Mr. Adam Abdullah, managing director of the subzone, said that since independence, the government has been earnestly working to relieve potable water shortage by constructing dams, micro dams, and reservoirs. He added that the new dam will provide a lasting solution to ensure potable water supply for the public. Engineer Amar Mahmoud, head of Land and Agriculture, said that the dam will make a significant contribution in providing potable water for the public and livestock, enriching underground water reserves, and enhancing irrigation farming in the area. He also commended all those who participated in the construction, particularly members of the defense forces. Noting that Eritrea's strategic development gives priority to public participation and internal capacity, Ambassador Mohammed Said Mantai, governor of the region, called for sustainable follow-up to ensure the dam's sustainability. At the event, certificates of recognition were awarded to those who contributed to the construction effort. And with that, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with the international news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And now shifting our focus to the global stage, Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, in a statement released by state media yesterday, said that Venezuela is prepared for any attack from the United States. The announcement of these naval deployments in Caribbean waters is nothing more than a show of force, a way of making territory so that other powers will not take control of the Caribbean Sea, the defense minister said, referring to U.S. military maneuvers in the region. The Venezuelan armed forces are patrolling the country's maritime borders and airspace in response to President Nicolas Maduro's call to strengthen the Bolivian national militia, said the official. He further added that 15,000 military personnel have been deployed to Venezuela's western region. The minister also highlighted the military's domestic security efforts, noting that anti-drug operations have led to the destruction of over 30 criminal outposts and illegal boat-building facilities. Tensions in the Caribbean Sea have escalated after the United States deployed warships near the coast of Venezuela earlier this month, which Washington describes as part of its strategy to fight the international drug cartels. Several leaders in the region, including Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum and Colombian President Gustavo Petro, have criticized the U.S. military maneuvers near Venezuela and the Caribbean Sea. And now a look of what's happening in the EU. Germany has blocked the European Commission's latest proposal to sanction Israel over the war in Gaza, Foreign Minister Johann Wadepool has said. Israel has faced a growing backlash over its conduct in the conflict and has been accused of allowing almost no aid into the area. Several Western states have announced plans to recognize Palestine as a state and in some cases scale back military and trade cooperation with Israel. The European Commission last weekend proposed suspending Israel's participation in the Horizon Europe research program, cutting off funding for Israeli startups in drone technology, cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. This was intended to pressure Israel to improve humanitarian aid deliveries, according to a draft resolution. Speaking to reporters on an EU meeting in Copenhagen, Foreign Minister Johann Wadepool said Germany rejected the plan, as it was not convinced that curbing Israel's access to EU research funds would influence its military action. Instead, he noted that Berlin has already restricted the delivery of weapons that can be used in Gaza. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas acknowledged on Saturday that the bloc is divided on the issue, and that ministers are not expected to reach an agreement soon. Denmark, which holds the EU's rotating presidency, recently signaled support for tougher sanctions, such as suspending trade with Israel. Meanwhile, Spain and Slovenia have condemned the EU's inaction over Gaza. Slovenia stated that the bloc has not imposed a single measure against Israel, contrasting it with the bloc's unity in sanctioning Russia over the Ukraine conflict. That's all for this session. Let's now again have a quick look of the major headlines. Various programs conducted in connection with September Fest. Awards presented to outstanding students in Barentu subzone. Venezuela says it's ready for any attack from the US. And Germany blocks EU sanctions on Israel. That concludes our broadcast for this evening. From all of us here, thank you for watching and have a good night.